never saw this album before. Wow, check them out, you know.
Yeah,
And so as we acquired records and started looking at stuff, it was, the idea, and plus too, we in the entertainment business, we do that as a living. I've entertained at the Waikiki Hilton Hawaiian Village for 17 years.
Mhm.
And so, we in the business. So, you hear all of that. And then the third part is a lot of them is either relatives or friends of
Right,
relatives,
right.
you know, we all connected, yeah, when we
Yeah,
are not.
yeah,
So
connected.
it only made it, um, it just made sense. Just made sense. So, we got into it, and awesome. And along the way, we discovered, like even records I never ever saw before. You know, and that was the neat part. And the discovery part of that. You know, um, and you come across like stuff like 49 records, 49 state records like this.
Yeah, well,
You just
yeah.
go, I never ever saw this before. Now back to this. This is John P. Ilani Watkins right there.
Wow.
And I knew John. John and I worked at Jermaine's Luau.
Jermaine's
And
Luau. Yeah.
yeah, and that's where I got to meet John. And even I never knew this existed, and stuff like this. Well, these were they were going from, these are 10-inch records,
Uh-huh.
and they're like 78s, but basically they were going 33 at the time,
Right,
and
right,
so yeah, so these are rare. I mean, because 49 state, they don't know how much of these are out there. They're not sure.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen any. I just kind of acquired my father's collection of maybe 200 to 300 albums, and it's kind of grew
Awesome.
up on. And now I'm kind of trying to figure out how. Well, it's going to take time because you got to listen real play and then dump it into the computer, the system itself, and you got
It takes time.
to chop it down. Yeah, but it's something that both of us kind of love is the music.
But once you get it,
Right.
then it's just it's priceless, because then you get to share it. And again, even for you and the Little Grass Shack side, you do awesome because you are sharing Hawaiian music.
I'm trying. No, but I'm not an entertainer. The only thing I play is just a push play. That's
Push play. You play the phonograph. Yeah.
That's
that's the best instrument, because you're very versatile at playing phonograph. Very versatile.
No,
So
but where were you originally from? Back home?
I'm originally from Nanakuli, born and raised.
Born and raised.
And right on Nanakuli Avenue. Those of us that our family was there from. I think my father then moved there in 1933, 34, somewhere around there.
Wow.
Maybe even later. Don't quote me on that one. I wasn't born at that time. I wasn't even one twinkle. You know what I mean?
Right.
But born and raised Nanakuli. I went to Nanakuli High School.
Uh-huh.
I graduated from Nanakuli High School, and the rest was just get out of Nanakuli. And again, that's a debate for a long story of how Nanakuli and Hawaii was at the time. And we're talking about 1976, 1977.
But that's when Hawaii was Hawaii, though. There was no concrete jungle. The tourism, wasn't, building or taking the land away from the people. Maybe they were back in then. But
on the contrary, bruh, Waikiki was like walking down New York.
Really?
I mean, bro, so crowded. You got to remember that in those days, they were called group tours. Uh-huh. And like today, you have what they call, solo. You solo, you check it out on your own. You go but in those days, people went with group tours. And I worked for a company called Sita World Travel. Oh. And I would be in charge of like 500 people, bro.
Wow.
And so you come into Waikiki, to say like they would stay at maybe two hotels, the Miramar Hotel and the Moana. So you would have to sit desk in the morning and whatever their needs are, you would, basically provide them with their needs. Basically evening, dinner shows. At that time in Waikiki, you had guys like Dick Jensen, Don Ho. You had shows all over town. That was going on. So you basically, whatever they wanted, you were there to provide that service. And so then now you got to go outer island. After a couple of days, maybe a week in Oahu, Now you got to move them Kauai, So we go Kauai for like a week. And you got to move 500 people over to Kauai,
Wow.
and that's like 10,000 bags, you got to go do that. And so, half the time, you're sitting on the plane, you're going, oh, I hope everything goes okay because they could fire me if I get over there. I have lost tourists, I mean, we're going from Kauai to Maui, but we got to stop on Oahu. And I tell everybody on the plane, okay, when we stop here, nobody get off the plane, just the people that got to get off here in Oahu.
Right.
And we're going to Maui, right? So everybody get off the plane, right? So I take a head count. Hey, I'm missing 2 people. I got to get off the plane. I got to go run around, look for them. I find them, in the Western Airlines, and this is the days they had Western Airline, in the Western Airline terminal, thinking that they're flying home to California. Oh, and the plane is waiting for me over at the Hawaiian Airlines area.
Oh.
I mean, they got to wait for me, and so you got to drag them back, to the plane. Everybody kind of knew I had you, but,
right.
people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what we did. I mean, I did that for a number of years, working with tourists. And before I got to Jermaine's Luau, but that's, I was a tour guide.
Right.
And Waikiki was busy. Group tours was amazing. So when you say about, today, when you walk down Waikiki, it's actually more empty than it was before.
Wow.
And I got to tell you, I mean, they used to walk Waikiki all the time,
Right.
Because, sometimes you're not going to take your car, you park your car one side and you got to make your way into Waikiki. And that's what we did. And then, when lunchtime come, right? Hey, we in Waikiki. Let's go surf, So all the tour guys will get boards, we'll go out there surf, You see all our tourists up there, they all hanging out with us. Good fun, good fun. But that's what we did.
That's so interesting. So interesting. And, for me, obviously, coming at a later date, born in 71, but I didn't get to, just to kind of experience all that. But, like today, it's like, concrete jungle, everybody stay on top of each other. Go ahead.
No.
It's like the not necessarily the entertainment has been lost, but just like maybe I don't know what I'm looking at, the luster of Hawaiian music. I don't know because a lot of reggae music today.
Sure.
I enjoy reggae music. I enjoy the R&B side, and but yet you just showed me that album, 49th State. Nobody has that. I don't know if I even have a 49th State.
Right. Maybe right.
Some,
and you get up there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, see, you born 71, yeah? I born 58. So I grew up in the 60s. I grew up in the 70s, I was already out of high school in the 80s, and then I didn't fall into being a musician until the 90s. So, all of that was like, wow, well, you had all these experiences, and so when we got into the entertainment business, we basically fell into it by accident. I was at a party, I was living in Kauai, and somebody asked me to play a song, and I played a song, and this guy approached me and asked me if I wanted, to do this for a living. Yeah, you drunk, I drunk, go back to your seat, And so, the night went on, and the next morning, Braddah was calling me up. I don't know how he got my number, but he had gotten my number. And turns out that he was the assistant general manager of the Hilton Hawaiian Village.
Wow.
And asked me to come to an audition and had a ticket for me, And so I got on the plane. I didn't even own a guitar. We got into the cab driver. I got into Honolulu. The cab driver took me to the Aloha swap meet at the stadium. And we went around the stadium looking for a guitar. Found one, $50 guitar, We stopped at Easy Music on the way, got strings, and basically tuning the guitar as we're pulling into the Hilton Hawaiian Village. And got in there, and there were at least 12 or 13 of us for this audition. And so I didn't think anything of it. We got in. And he asked me to go first, and I went on stage. And the next thing I knew, he was asking me, he says, when can you start? And I was like, start what? And he goes, Braddah, start work over here. And I was like, I live Kauai, right? And he goes, okay. So they made me an offer and got me over from Kauai. And I started at the Tropics showroom, the Tropics bar, actually. We opened the Tropics bar with Charo, Kuchi Kuchi.
Yeah, Kuchi Kuchi, yeah.
Yeah, so Charo and I, she worked inside in the lounge. She had a show. And I was outside in the open air at the bar. Uh-huh. And so every night we would talk and stuff. And one day she came to me, she goes, I've listened to you sing. You have any recordings? And I said, no. She goes, you write music? I go, yeah, a little bit. And she got me in touch with Lester Gantan. And Lester Gantan was with Flying Hawaiian Productions. And Lester is a very talented man. And Lester was Charles' keyboardist. And basically, we went into the studio. And it was kind of like, yeah, who's this guy? Nobody, And finally, they asked me, you write any music? I said, yeah, I wrote some music. He says, play me something. And I played him a song that I wrote called Traffic. And he looked at me and he goes, when can we record that song? And I said, well, yeah, sure, anytime. And I came in the next day and we recorded Traffic. And we got Traffic out. And Traffic basically was more or less formatted into the KCCN people. And they loved the song. And so Lester came back and said, hey, you have another song? And I said, I like this one song called Sunlight. And he goes, we're going to record that one. Little did I know, and again, getting the story around, right. I was hanging out with Henry Kapono at the time. And Henry and I were kind of just hanging out, doing things. And Henry found out I was in the studio. And if you listen to the song Sunlight, all 14 tracks is Henry Kapono that are in the back of me, backing me up. He came into the studio and laid all of that for me. I was so appreciative, so honored. And so we put a package together. In those days, they had cassette, wasn't CD.
Was CD.
And so we put together a cassette single. Hold on.
So, how'd you get involved in music? You just fiddling around at home with parties and stuff like that, and then just knew how a little bit about the guitar, and then just threw it together and just went on stage.
A lot of it was my family. A lot of my family members are entertainers. We never knew who they were. They just, basically when we'd go someplace, we would end up, who's that? Oh, that's your uncle.
Oh, that's your uncle.
It's my uncle. Oh, that's your uncle. Like, I met this young man, this guy here. Hold on. This is Kimo McVeigh.
Uh-huh.
And Kimo McVeigh, he was Don Ho's manager.
Wow.
Kimo McVeigh also has a long story. His father was the captain of the Indianapolis. And the Indianapolis was one of the ships that when they left Tinian Harbor was sunk by a Japanese submarine. And 800 men went in the water and they stayed in there. Nobody knew they were there. And for 2 weeks, only 300 men made it out of the water.
Wow.
And so Kimo, again, another story for another time, but very nice man. And had met Kimo in Kauai with a group called Booga Booga. And Kimo brought me in, when he found out I was at the Hilton, Kimo brought me in to see Uncle Don. And so when I went in to see Don Ho looked at me and says, what's your last name? I said, Holi. He said, you're from Namakuli? I was, yeah. And I was surprised. And he went, your father and me are cousins. You're my nephew. I went, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. Huh? So, never got to talk to Dad about that because Dad had passed away. Uh-huh. But, it was shocking that he knew a lot about our family and they kind of sustained that. So, we went with that story. Auntie Genoa Ke'ave used to hang around with us, with my father. I didn't know what the relationship was. Uh-huh. I guess they were friends, but she would always show up at parties and stuff and sit with my dad, talk with my dad, So they had a relationship. We had others that were somewhat related. Uncle Otto Isaacs was related to the Reese family, and Alvin Isaacs was also part of that Isaacs family, the Pulavas. So we hung around with them, and we got to meet many people. Robert and Roland Casimiro. My sisters all danced for Auntie Betty and Uncle Bill, who is Robert and Roland's parents. And so on Sundays, we would be at the house whenever I was with my auntie them, and we would sit down and watch rehearsals. My sisters would dance with Kanoe, Roland's sister. And that's how we grew up. I knew Robert from when I was 5 years old. Robert and I had a relationship.
Talk about legends. I mean, the island legends, so to speak, and kind of started they started. To me, that's the gods of Hawaii.
We had known them, and then again, getting into the I mean, I came up from school one day, and there's Robert, Roland, and Peter playing in my front yard. Just because they wanted to use one sound system my father had. And so they would set up the sound system, show up in my front yard. You come home from school, turn the corner, there they are, right there in your front. You go, hey, grab one chair, sit down, let's go watch,
Yeah, man.
And that was our family. So that's the history of our family in music.
Right.
We had an uncle. His name was George Piltz. He was a Hollywood movie star and also an entertainer in Hawaii. But this was in the 40s and the 50s. And he had passed away somewhere in the 60s, so I never got to meet him. Mm-hmm. But that's another relationship. So, off and on. Hawaii is so small that, everybody at one point can be an entertainer if right. But everybody is. I mean, if you kind of think about it, everybody plays music. Everybody can sing. It's just a matter of whether you get enough cajones to go up on a stage and play for everybody, right? So, if you can do that, then you're fine, and so even when I got the job at Hilton, it's my very first job. I don't know anything about entertaining. I have no idea all I do is go up to play music. And the thing is, I started on May Day. So I was like, oh no. So I got a hold of my friend who was also a tour guide. His name was Kevin Kasparovich. And Kevin Kasparavich's brother is Kaulana Kasparovich, who was a kumu. And just so happened they were being more or less at the May Day concert down at the Shell. And so I told him what time I started. And lo and behold, just before I started, here comes this whole halal come inside the Shell bar.
Right.
My very first night, May Day. And I tell you, it was one of the wildest nights we had at the Hilton. And basically kind of, put my job in security because they were just blown away. We had all the tourists at the Hilton at the Shell Bar that night, and Kaulana and Kevin and myself put on a show that they would never forget. And it was awesome. That was the bang. And 17 years later, I got to meet with a lot of legends. I got to meet and play with a lot of people. One of my best experiences was with Uncle Mo Ke'ale. I get a call one day. Uncle Mo calls me, hey, how are you? I said, Uncle, what are you doing? You come down, talk to us? Yeah, sure. And I go down, and it's Analu Aina, his bass player, who's actually Braddah is his bass player.
Yeah.
And they're all cousins. Okay, Uncle Mo is Analu Aina. They're all cousins. So Anna grabs me, and he goes, "Oh, Uncle, going to ask you for a favor." I said, "Okay, what's up?" He goes, Hawaiian, you ever been on a ship? And I looked at him and went, ship? What are you talking about, ship? I've been on a canoe. He goes, no, Hawaiian. And he explains to me that he plays music on a cruise ship. And so I go, oh, wow, that'd be awesome. He goes, you go with me. And I said, okay, I'll get some time off from the Hilton. And yeah, I'd love to do it. And so he sets up everything, and we go in as a trio. And to go play it's a ship called the Legend of the Sea with Royal Caribbean. And we get on the ship, no rehearsal, bro. No rehearsal, Hawaiian style. And so they put three of us in this room, and we're down in the crew room, and it's Uncle Mo, myself, and this young man, Clement Paishan. If you know Sean. This is Chad's brother. And so I'm looking at the three Hawaiians in this small cabin. And so I go up to the front desk and I go, hey, front desk office manager around. Yeah. So she comes out, very nice lady. And I tell her, hey, you ever watch Hawaii Five-O? She goes, yeah. I go, you know the guy Kimo? She goes, yeah. I go, you know, Kimo's downstairs. He's on the ship. She goes, what? Yeah. And you guys put us, you can put us in, all three of us in a room. Is there any way we can do something for him? She goes, oh, yeah. When we leave the port, I'll call for you and you come up and we'll set up a room for him. Yeah. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. So I go back down, hang out with Uncle Mo. And, I'll go, well, show me around the ship. Never been on the ship before. So we start, he gives me the tour. And as we're giving the tour, we're leaving the port, right? And I hear my name, Piikane Holi, can you please come up to the front desk? And Uncle Mo looks at me and goes, oh, what happened? You did something wrong? I said, no, Uncle. Probably my credit card, something with my credit card. I'll be right back. I'll go up to the front desk. The lady has everything. We're playing on the fourth floor. She puts Uncle Mo's room right in the back of the stage. Awesome. Oh. Thank her, But she's a fan, Yeah. So put the key in my pocket, go back down, catch up with Uncle there. Say, Uncle, where we going to play? So he takes me to the fourth floor, so the Centrum, right? And right on the side of the kind is rooms. You can, there's a hallway. You can go down in the room, start there. Right. In the first room, I get the key, I pull it out. Uncle's looking at me, I go, yeah, check this out. I put him in, I open the door, right? Uncle goes, hey, Wyatt, what you doing? I go, Uncle, this is your room. And he goes, what? I go, this is your room, okay? You're not going to be downstairs with me and Clement. This is your room. This is where you are. The stage right there, okay? Bro, tour guide experience, bro. All those years of being a tour guide, I knew how to take care of Uncle, you know what I mean? Right. So Uncle got his own room. Uncle all happy, right? Right. We get up to go on the stage. There's no rehearsal. He puts the book down. He opens the book, turns the page, and go, okay, 1, 2, and I'm going, okay, what key? Okay, And so we had a wonderful time with Uncle. And so when we came back, Uncle advised me that, hey, Hawaii, you the man? You going with us? And we came. I got to tell this one story. Getting off the ship, Loyal Garner had passed away. And so Uncle Mo got a call. We had to go Kauai Hall Church to go do Loyal Garner's funeral. So Uncle Mo turns to me and he goes, Hawaiian, what you doing tonight? Oh, nothing. Just get home. Check him out. He goes, meet me at Kauai Hall Church when you're going to play music. What? Yeah. We'll stand in the line. Okay. What time? Go around 6 o'clock. I'll see you there. Okay. Go home, hang around, go out. I come back to Kauai Hall Church, I get my guitar, and I'm standing in the line, get in this line. Now, you got to remember, I am nobody. But I'm standing in the line with Dick Jensen, Jimmy Burgess, Jimmy Borges, Olamana, the kind Del Beasley. They all in line. Makaha Sons, because everybody's taking their turn to go out play the song for Loyal Garner. Mm. I'm waiting for Uncle Mo, but I'm in line. And in the back of me is Del Beasley, and I'm in the back of Jimmy Burgess. So we're all moving up, and I get a call. I'm about 3 people away. Hello? Homie, where you stay? Uncle, I stay in line. I'm about 3 people away. Where are you? He goes, oh, Hawaiian, I fell asleep. I still stay home. I'm not going to make it. I went, what? He goes, Hawaiian, go play one song. Are you kidding me, Uncle? So now I 2 guys, and now I won. I'm the next guy now. And Uncle Don comes up. Yeah, I'm a boy. You think you can let Uncle go first? Oh, Uncle, no problem. Go ahead, Go ahead. No problem. Del Beasley comes, he goes, hey, Hawaiian, you special? I go, why? He goes, bro, you're the only guy Don Hogan opened for. I just started laughing. I was cracking up in line, right? And Melamina, all those guys in the back, hey, Hawaiian, Don Hogan, he opened for you? Oh, you somebody?
That's cool, man.
Bro, I call up Uncle Mo. I go, you bugger, you ever put me in this position again? And Uncle is laughing up on the other side. He goes, see, I got you in a position. I got you in Don Hall. Uncle Don. We're open for you, bro. You know. And so I went up, did the song, and I got the heck out of there, bro. You know. The very next day, we met with Uncle. Anulu, myself, Melamina. He was planning the next, we were going out maybe 2 months from now or something. And so he had to go to the doctor. And this is when he went to the doctor and he passed away in the doctor's office right after he met with us. And so we did the funeral, very shocking, unexpected. And then Mel and Anna was with the task of the contract with Royal Caribbean. Mm-hmm. And so Mel turns to me and goes, bro, you got to take the contract for Uncle Mo. And I went, what? He goes, bro, Royal Caribbean contract, it's yours. So what I did was I basically left Hilton and went to work for Royal Caribbean. And I've been doing, from 2001, basically doing trips with Royal Caribbean. Every 6 months, I go on board. It's me and Gordon Freitas. And we've been doing this, 10, 12 years now. Wow. We've been with Royal Caribbean. We were, and the different ships. We were on the Ovation of the Sea, which is the 6th largest cruise ship in the world. And Royal Caribbean has allowed me to do lectures. So I do a number of lectures while the ship is at sea, talking about Hawaiian history. So we tell them the story. And we have to do it in a kind of a very delicate way because people, they take it differently.
Yes.
But, they allow me to do, like I did the last trip we did from Australia. Tahiti, Hawaii, and then up to Vancouver, Canada. I did 17 lectures about Polynesia. And so, that allows me to read and express and people now more, they're kind of more in line as to how we feel as Hawaiians about what's going on. Certain things are controversial and certain stories are personal. And so there's a good side to it. And we make a lot of friends. So we meet a lot of people and it's great. I mean, we're not there trying to sell them stuff. We're just basically as ambassadors to Hawaii.
That's right.
Do our job. Yeah. And we're very popular. We get asked to come back all the time. And it's been a wonderful blessing for us, to start to do this with, now we're on a ship with basically 5,000 people, and we get to entertain them and we get to talk with them. And it is a wonderful experience that we get. And again, it comes all from being a tour guide, from our love of Hawaii, the love of music. It all comes together, yeah.
You gotta go to school. You gotta go to school about that. I mean, you just were educated in life and fell into the right places, sometimes at the wrong time. But and
so it wasn't that enough that we got Royal Caribbean. When the inner island ships started coming around, the Pride of Aloha, the Pride of Hawaii, the Pride of America, we were in charge of all the entertainment on board.
Wow.
So we hired, excuse me?
You started your own agency kind of thing, or?
We had kind of a small little, hui together with a bunch of brothers. But see, the whole, I was working through Tihatis. And I was working with Gloria Chan and Shah. And basically the whole agreement is if I was going to take this contract, I cannot use any of the Waikiki entertainers.
Oh, okay.
That's how they left it to me. But I demanded only one person. I want Gordon Freitas. Gordon comes with me. Gordon has always been with me. Mm-hmm. So Gordon comes with me. And with Gordon came Todd Adamski. And Todd Adamski was with a group called Nightwing. And Island Holiday is their song. But Todd is fantastic. So they gave me the contract. So what I did was I went to outside of Hawaii to find Hawaiians that wanted to come home and work. And so we ended up like in San Francisco, we got Eddie Mahiko. In Las Vegas, we got Eddie Pasqua. Very low, key guys, but could do the job.
Right.
And basically we came on board and we did all the pool music. and we basically toured around the island 7 days a week doing the entertainment. So we did that for a couple of years, and after a while, moving up here to California, it just got kind of hectic with me going back and forth and traveling a lot.
Right.
And then I acquired the Mai Tai bar over in where's Huntington Beach. I was doing the entertainment there. So like Nappy, Napoleon, all those guys, the bunch of guys up there, very talented people. So again, it was just kind of scrambling for me. And again, trying to adjust to living in San Diego. We gave up the Royal Caribbean, not the Royal Caribbean, but the Norwegian Cruise Line, the Inner Island. And then basically gave up turned it over to Nappy. Let Nappy run because he's up there in Huntington Beach. Right. So we gave it to him, and so he ran it for a little while, and that was wonderful. And then just kind of settled in to the lifestyle here in San Diego, playing at the Catamaran Hotel, just kind of doing stuff, trying to get another album out for years, but just. Again, years go by so quickly. Yeah, my first album was in '95 was the cassette. '98 was the other CD that we did, a full CD. So we haven't done anything. So every time I go home, when I meet up with the KCCN guys or with Ed Canoy or some of the guys that we know, Shannon Scott, I always get so what, bro? Where's the album? So. We have now gone up and kind of geared things up, and we're starting to do another album. We've already recorded 3 songs, and being the coronavirus thing came,
right?
We've held off, and now we're going to go back in the studio. I think it's this week we go back in the studio. Hopefully with guys like Bully Suarez. Bully was with Platinum Records, and Braddah Walter, a wonderful bass player. He was also with Downhole. So Bully's up here with us. So, hopefully we get Bully to, come up and do his thing with us. And just work with the local talent and see what we can, come up with. Other than that, probably Gordon, we'll bring Gordon up and have Gordon do his thing in the record and try to get it out probably around October, November, and try to get a product out and have people, see who or where I have been all this time. So.
Yeah, but now okay, you did the tour guide, and the travel and the educator, and now residing in San Diego, and obviously that's where we met by chance, hanging at the pool because you playing the music because all we did is.
Well, you came to watch a very talented man. You came to watch a very talented guy who was Keahi. And just so happened I was playing that day. Keahi, very talented man, doing well from Waianae. I can't afford him for that. You know what I mean? Just the next town over, but
No.
Can I say,
we've been to the Catamaran numerous times, but me and some local brothers, we would come down on a company retreat, and we'd be like either on the 12th floor in the towers or whatever, and we're like listening. Is that the sweet lady at White Hole going on right now? We walk out to the balcony, and then even my wife would say, "Hey man, they're playing Hawaiian music. No way."
Yeah.
No way. Then we ended up going down there and it was you. And then we started drinking. And next thing we had to go to they do a luau at Catamaran, right?
Right.
Right. So we ended up going to the luau and then going back to the pool, but he was already gone. So I was like, oh man. And then now you are, that's how we met. But now you're doing a radio show. I mean, literally just doing what you love, I guess, educating and playing the music, right?
Yes, and again, I got to thank a gentleman by the name of Howard Klarman. Howard knew some people over at KCBQ, and Howard and I had talked a couple of times, and just kind of fooling around. Again, it was like, yeah, right, sure. And the next thing I knew, I get a call. It says, hey, we got a meeting. I went, meeting about what? He goes, no, come on, we're going to the radio station. And had really not formulated an idea. This was just throwing it out there, right? Uh-huh. I had worked as a DJ before in Kauai at a radio station called KIPO, which is now called Kong Radio. Ron Wiley now is down at that radio station. And so I've had some experience. So we got in a car, we went to KCBQ, and the people up there were very, very nice, and asked me what I wanted to do. They're basically a talk radio station. And so, obviously we couldn't do stuff during the week, but they had openings on the weekends, and we had looked at what was the openings. And I looked at Sundays, and I thought Sundays was a great, great time. People usually relaxing, they're home. They would more really, in that sense, to listen to music.
Right.
And so we took the 11 to 12, figure we'd do a 1 hour show. So the guy turns around and he goes, so what are you going to call your show? And just right off the top of my head, I just said, I guess we'll call it the Aloha Show. And they loved the idea. So now I was kind of, boom, contract in front, got a sign. Now I got to have a logo. Got to go out and get a logo. So we have to go out and get, a little logo.
I got one of those cards.
And we got it out. They're really nice. Yeah. And so, we did that. And we opened, our first show was February 4th, 2 years ago. And we went on air. And it was frightening because, again, getting, you don't remember, what I know, so, dead air, all that kind of stuff. You got to, what do you mean I got to talk? What do you mean I got to talk again?
Right.
And it was wonderful. We had a good time. They made us feel very relaxed. And so we continued on, and, it's just a matter of now surviving. Getting sponsors, getting people to help with the show.
Yes.
We do a lot of it ourselves because, again, through music, if we get enough gigs, and we get we usually take care of it ourselves. And there's a few people that help us, and we love that. But since this coronavirus thing, we all idle, yeah. So we've turned it into another idea to see, how we can survive, and just a normal thing. But the radio show is awesome. We love doing it. And again, it gives me a voice to talk about us, about us Hawaiians, about where we feel. And, I found a few things about mainland that are different from Hawaii.
Yes.
Some of the customs, some of the things. And sometimes you got to straighten out certain things, certain stories.
Right.
And again, fortunate to be somebody who has studied, who has looked at it, been a tour guide. I've been around the islands. I mean, you tell me someplace in the island, I'm going, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about because I've been there, and so again, family, stories that I've known. So it gives us a lot to talk about. It gives us a lot to share, and again, it's a good way to share because, we're not trying to tell people what to do. We're just trying to give them experiences about what we feel from our point of view as Hawaiians, There's sometimes a little bit, how you say, hoo-hoo.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff, that we talk about, we walk a line sometimes.
Right.
We walk a line. And that on the serious side about our culture and about our history, we walk a line, because we could be subject to a lot of things that, people above us.
Politics.
Yeah, people could shut us down tomorrow if they didn't like what we said.
Right.
And so we're very careful. But the truth is the truth, and so again, the station has been very, very nice. And if I have any questions or anything about what I'm talking about, I usually can make a call. Mm-hmm. And they're very nice about it. They yeah, go ahead, try it. Let's see what it sounds like. Go, okay, here we go. Especially like the Mauna Kea thing.
I know.
Again, to explain, right? Had to explain because again, these people, most of them, they go Hawaii, they never see Mauna Kea. Well, I guess from the distance, but they don't know what's going on. No, so they come to me and they go, "Brother, what's going on up there on the mountain?" I go, "Oh, you know that story? Okay, here we go." And then so we get on the air and we tell the story and they go, "Wow, I never knew that." See, Yeah. And then we start with, we go back a little bit more and we talk about Hawaiian homestead. Everybody think that Hawaiian homestead is the Hawaiian land given by the Hawaiians. I go, no. Hawaiian homestead is something that was 1920 that went through Congress, and Congress allotted Hawaiian homestead. You gotta gotta know your history.
Yeah.
How do I know this? I grew up on Hawaiian Homestead. Nanakuli Avenue, Nanakuli Homestead was Hawaiian Homestead.
Right.
So I grew up Hawaiian Homestead. So, we have all of them. I mean, I'm on the list, so like everybody else, we're still waiting.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So we go further back. They go, So they go, what about this thing about the overthrow? And I go, oh man, you like talk about that?
Yeah. Man.
Okay. And then we talk about it. And so they allowed me to go so far, even to the point where I can almost say that, I'm not an American, but I cannot say that, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because of certain things. But in reality, I can prove that. Right. And that's the part, and in a lot of ways. So, so there's a lot of experience that comes with this. And for the things that I have done at the Hilton, in Saipan, in growing up, in whatever we done, it was always with Aloha, Hawaiian and hot. I've always stayed to my I am Hawaiian, and I believe that truly. When you look and study about things, people like Keanu Sai, who was very controversial, but when you listen to the story and you look it up, things fall into place. And so you have to, again, engage. You have to look. As Polynesians, as Hawaiians, we have to start looking at these things. Why? Because it affects our homeland. And our homeland right now is basically in trouble. And the reef, you look at the reef, you look at our environment, you look at things that are going on. These are important. The good thing is that people like Walter Riddy and guys are working within the establishment to come up with like the fish pond idea.
Right.
Putting back the fish ponds, putting back the taro patches, and doing these works is great what they're doing, but sometimes it's not enough. We have to deal with tourism. One of the things, the articles that I read last week, they say that the water in Hawaii right now is so clean because there's no tourists. There's no, everybody slopping up with no oil. No more the kind, the oil slab going across the water. The water is so clean. Even my friend Noi Takimoto owns Taki's Hairstyling in Pearl Ridge. He's an avid surfer, and he goes, bro, the water is so, I went down Kaisers, oh man, the water clean, I can see the reef, bro. I went, oh no. And it's amazing because if we, and you think about it, really in tourism, we should have a time where we should let tourism stop and allow maybe 1 month for everything to circulate, clean up a little bit, and then bring them back. Something like that. I'm not saying that's but we got to think about those things.
It's like a filter, right? Like filter them out. Hey, everybody stop, filter them out, and then we're gonna start up again.
So for you and me, how I envision my show and how I do things is I talk to people like they're about ready to go to Hawaii. And I tell them, hey, Hanama Bay closed there this week. So if you plan to go Hanama Bay, then, so I find out little tidbits about what's going on at home.
Right.
And then talk to my friends, see what's going on. And, and then so we just pass it off. If you're planning to go Hawaii for the next couple of months, hey, are they planning on closing Poipu Beach for cleaning? Stuff like that. Right. And so if you're going Kauai, plan to go away from Poipu Beach and stuff like that. Storms, floods, when that flood was happening in Kauai, we're telling people, if you plan to go Kauai, don't go Kauai. Especially if you're going Hanalei, you better bring a board because you're going to be floating along with everybody else. So we try to be informative and try to do that. And we get a lot of good results. A lot of feedback, and it's really been good. And again, we thank all the people that listen. Yeah. And so we feel, we cannot do the full day show, so we turn them over to the little grass shack. It's the best way.
No, we try. Now,
Right, you guys do an awesome job. You do an awesome job. You do. You really do.
I wish I had the stories like and the experience of being a tour guide. Me, mainland kid, kind of the records, and kind of grew up with my father playing the music, and I kind of just growing with that. And now just like you. What we do is I have never been to Hawaii. Move to the mainland, and that's what I do. That's what we do, right? We share the aloha, every time people on. So
that's right.
And we're the steward of the island, right? So we try to be that part, right?
And I get days where I get starstruck too. First time meeting Henry Capono, I got to go sit down. Look at that Henry. This is Henry Capono. And the stories that come in that. The Hilton also provided me with a lot of insight. Also, the opportunity to entertain for 3 presidents. I got to entertain for the 2 Bushes and the Clintons. So, I got that opportunity at the Hilton. We also was the area where all the Pro Bowl, we was the bar for all the pro. So I got to meet guys like Lawrence Taylor, Troy Atkins, all those guys. They were in our bar because, Huey Long spot the kid, for the kids to come and get autographs and stuff.
Right.
So it's just such a blessing. And then again, getting my songs on the radio, not only Traffic, I wrote a song called Baby Love, and a couple of other things. Got involved with, a couple of other groups, and it's just been wonderful. And played with guys like Jeff Rasmussen. I got to play a little bit with Henry, but again, Otosan, Patrick Ladanza, all those guys. We got to, just know everybody, and got to play with somebody. Some of the times, even another story is before Dukes was Dukes, it was called Canoes, and I was working for Tihatis at the time, and Tihatis would be like this, brother, you need a gig, yeah. Okay, go down to Canoes at 3:00. Okay, what am I doing? Just show up at Canoes 3:00. So you'd show up, and 2 musicians would show up, and you figured, we the 2 guys gonna play with each other. So you got to figure out, one routine, and then you got to get up on stage and do 3 hours of music. You know what I mean? And so you meet a lot of guys. Even guys tell me, hey, bro, remember the time we played Canoes? I played Canoes with you, and all the little gigs around town. Sam Kapu was at the Princess Kailani Hotel. I got to play with Sam Kapu for a little while. We played in almost every hotel in Waikiki, and beyond that. We do weddings on the beach. We did all of that in Waikiki. Waikiki was the center of entertainment for Hawaiian music, and you're right. It's kind of changed to reggae music, but there are people like Ho'okena that are moving in town, right, playing at these hotels. You got other good entertainers that are coming up. These young kids, very talented, coming up. I hear more Hawaiian music in the outside bars outside of Waikiki than I do inside of Waikiki. Mm-hmm. But at least they have some Hawaiian music. Excuse me, Art Kalahiki is another guy. Art is another wonderful man, good friend of mine. And Art does that. Greg Sardina, who is a steel guitar player over at the airport. If you're going in and out of the airport, those guys play music. That's Greg Sardina. Very, again, legendary steel guitar player, Right. So they're all over the place. That's what they do. That's what we are, and anytime we can share the music and share the stories and share the mana'o that we know as, people that have been in this business for a long time, we love to do it. And again, sometimes people think we're lying, because because the stories are so out there. Right. Bro, I get stories of Manao Company and us guys in Guam, and just you open up the you open the whole books. You can just open up the book because there's story after story after story after story, and some people have more stories than me, and they're funny, hilarious.
I hope you're going to share that with us, throughout this journey, because Man, I know you have a lot of stories. And I'm so taken in about what you do, and how you got to this point, living in the mainland, and now playing catamaran and getting all these entertainers involved. And
no, let me call you back, bro. Let me call you back. I'm on an interview. I'll call you back.
See, that's Hawaiian. I love that. I see. I'm recording the video and the podcast, and this is going to go out. Hopefully, I can get it edited and sent out. Probably, I'm going to let you know, because we started this new platform, 24/7 radio, right, with me, and kind of podcast. Hawaiian music, and then some different platforms I'm trying to work with. But I would love for you to come back on, or even come in the studio here live. If you come visit Las Vegas.
Sure. Yeah. I have family. I have family in Vegas. I told my auntie about your radio station. She listens. My auntie Cindy, she listens to your station. She's heard of your station. So,
good.
And I told her about the game. Oh yeah, Little Grass Shack. Yeah, we listen to that, bro. wait now, auntie. Now you gotta do the step before you get to Braddah's. Right, huh? Laugh up. It's great. Some of the stories, especially with Henry, were fun. Henry was a wonderful person, and again, the opportunity, how I met Henry was through a man named John Asara. And John Asara was a cartoonist down in the Royal Hawaiian Shopping Center. And you sit on the chair and they make you a cartoon, and then you pay 25 bucks. Yeah. So John is the one who started that, John Asara. But John, I met John just one day, kind of cruising, nice guy. We started hanging around. He goes, "Hey, come, I'll let you meet my friend." And we come around the corner, and there is Henry Kapono. And my knees buckle, bro. I swear, I sit down and every time we coming to meet this guy, and he goes, "Oh, this is my friend. It's my friend." And so we started talking, we started doing things, and next thing I know, I got asked to basically go on tour with them. And so we go, and again, we end up in Guam with Manao Company, and we had a great time. Then we went to Saipan. And of course, knowing that, I lived in Saipan, I knew some people and stuff. So, we got a little party together with these guys, and it was fun. And we went and did the show. And as we're going back to the hotel, Manao Company is already in the hotel. Wow. And this is one really tricky story, bro. I'm with Cecilio. Cecilio and I are downstairs getting, just kind of talking, and we get in the elevator, and the elevator goes up to our floor, and the doors open, and what you see is 5 big Hawaiians, actually 4, because Salam wasn't that big. 4 big Hawaiians in their bebedis, running through the hallways with these little Filipino girls chasing them.
Oh, you put it out?
And it was so hilarious that Cecilia and I was laughing so hard. We fell down, and the elevator door closed. We went back down, got back drunk again because we couldn't believe what we just saw. Okay? So we went back down, finished a bottle of Crown Royal, come back up, the elevator door open. We're looking like this, looking around. Okay, that wasn't real. And so we walk into the hallway, and again, shoosh. One brother running to one room to that. Just 2 Filipino girls chasing after him, and just going, "Oh my God!" Basically he turned it into a harem up in our floor.
Oh, you let the secrets out and stuff like that, man.
I'm not naming names. I don't know if anybody was married. Not my Kuliana. And apologize. It's just a story, okay?
It's a story.
But the next morning it was even more hilarious because now everybody's sober.
Yep, they're recollecting the night.
So you get, "Hey, who's this?" There are a few stories, but the one that really grabs me the most is when I started with Cecilio and Kapono. I was still playing at the Hilton, and so we'd be in a meeting, and I said, "I gotta go." And Cecilio would go, "Where are you going?" I said, "I gotta go play music." And Cecilio would go, "What?" And I go, "Yeah, I play at the Hilton." you mean you play for the tourists? And I go, yeah, at the top of bar at the Hilton. Oh, right. It started giving just on me about that, right? Like, you know, go ahead, say what you got to say. I'm in the car. This is money in my pocket. I got to go.
Right,
so,
right.
you know, get to the Hilton, do my job. Now, we fast forward 15 years later. I come around. I don't play at the Hilton anymore, okay? I come around. Hey, we go check out the top of bar. Me and my wife and I. We come around. I hear this band playing. And go, hey, this band sounds familiar. Walk up to the top of bar, come around the corner, and who's up on the stage? Cecilio and Capono. You know, they're playing at the top of bar for the tourists. Okay, so I walk straight up. I go, oh, I leave my wife and I walk straight up to the front. I go like this. I look up at the two guys, and Cecilia goes, bro, don't you say one word, not one word to me, not one word. And Henry Renato saying, hey, how's it, bro? How you? I go, so playing for the tourists, huh? Awesome, bro. You know, so. Wow. Well, you know, one of those things, you know, and again, love those guys. Henry and I are still friends. I still see Henry. He comes to Duke's here in San Diego.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, yeah.
You know, and he plays here, and it's just nice to see him.
That's cool. I mean, can we what you call it, like do this like a recurring thing, like I'd love to talk to you like once a week and give me all the stories and stuff. And I'll just put them out, be like, you know, a talk story with Piikane of San Diego, you know, and then because I got to jump on.
Yeah, we never tell you the Troy Fernandez stories yet.
No. Save all that because I got to jump on another call. That's why.
Okay. but anytime, bro. Anytime. You know, I love talking with you, bro. And again, your show is awesome. And again, we here doing what we do, and you do a wonderful
I'm trying, I'm trying to keep up with you, man. I don't know the stories yet, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to keep going. I'll let everybody know because this is going on the podcast. Where can they find you in San Diego?
Well, basically, you know, basically right now it's the radio, and again Facebook. We do a Wednesday night concert, basically live music, and then on Sunday we do live Facebook with the show, and so the show is on KCBQ. It's on Sundays, 11:30 to 1 o'clock. You can catch us either in the radio. If you're in the area, you can go online and catch us. You can catch us on Facebook. Just many ways, and we're here. You know, and if you have any questions, we give you a number to call, and you can call us, or you can write us in and give us requests, and we'd be more than happy to play the music. We play old Hawaiian music. We play very little reggae. The only reggae I usually like is Braddah Walter. Yeah, a little bit. You know, what happened? You know, did I get cut off from you?
No. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can still hear you. Something happened here. Hold on.
You gotta pay your bill, bro. I can still see you.
No. I'm connected to you, but something. It's like, there you are. Okay. I don't know what happened. It just went all of a sudden. Again, we play Braddah Walter. We play just a little bit reggae. Yeah. The rest of it is all Hawaiian music.
How many hours, y'all? Just 1, 2?
We're only on an hour and a half. Just an hour and a half every Sunday. And again, we're trying to grow the show. We can grow the show larger. I would love to do, like you, all day.
No, I only do 4 hours, man. But now, now with this platform, maybe we can talk Star, and maybe we get the San Diego onto this platform. You know what I mean? And from Piikane,
love to do it, bro. Let's talk. I mean, more than open to do stuff like that. We have the records. That's
what I'm talking about. I mean, if we can collab and join forces and let people know, hey, man, the Hawaiian does.
Love to do it. Love to do it. There's another, even another brother up in your area, Wild Bill Logan. He's up in Utah. He does a morning show. But Wild Bill is another Nanakuli brother that's doing radio. So maybe we can do a triangle, bro.
Yeah, we're doing triangle. We'll figure it out.
We can talk to Wild Bill about stuff, but if it doesn't work, love to talk to you. Whatever we can work out, I'd love to do it. Anytime, bro.
All right, man. Well, you tell the
you guys have a wonderful day.
All right, bro. You take it easy. Aloha.
I will. You have a wonderful. You guys have a wonderful day. Aloha. Mahalo. Aloha.